drank soda and now my nose is starting to break out. Maybe if I sit far enough, you can't see it. Good morning. Today, what are we doing? Today, I'm going to explain the whole process, how to become a Korean language student at Seoul University, and about general life in Korea. I feel like this video might be kind of long, so I've divided the video into smaller sections. So if you're looking for a certain topic, you can just check the description for the timestamps. You know, if you're looking for a certain topic or question, you won't have to watch the whole video. You could just skip around. And yes, let's get started. So the Seoul University KLEC program stands for Korean Language Education Center, I think, and it's a program where you're just learning Korean. I'm doing the KGP 200 program, so it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and you're just learning Korean. That's it. For 10 weeks. 10 weeks is one semester, and there's 4 semesters in a year. They also have afternoon classes for those of you who aren't morning people. I think it starts at 1:30, and there's also shorter programs, so I believe there's a summer run for 4 weeks, or there's some where it's 2 hours a day instead of 4. There will be 3 teachers, a writing teacher for the first hour, and then the middle 2 hours you have a speaking teacher, and then the last hour you have a teacher for reading and listening. These classes are taught in Korean, only Korean. They do not translate to English, French, Chinese, but don't freak out. Surprisingly, it's really easy to follow along. I didn't know much Korean either, but like, it's not hard, don't freak out. Most of the people there don't know Korean anyways if you're in level 1. Also, some people want to know, but this is not an exchange program. This is not with like a home university or anything. You apply directly to Seoul's KLEC website, and I'll show you how to do that a little later. So wait a bit. After doing a bit of research, I found that Seoul best fitted what I was looking for. I feel like you can't go too wrong with choosing a university as long as it suits you best. Seoul University focuses a lot on the speaking aspect, and that's mostly what I was looking for. I just wanted to like communicate with the people easily. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? We spend 2+ hours just on speaking. So after the first 10 weeks, I felt like I was really comfortable with talking to people in Korean. And I know there are some people, or a lot of people, who only aiming to get a high topic score. If that's the case, I feel like Yonsei might be a good choice. Not to say that Seoul doesn't prepare you. I just feel like Yonsei is really grammar, writing, reading heavy, but Seoul is speaking. I also had this one friend who goes to Iwa. She feels like Iwa is like right in between Seoul and Yonsei. So Yonsei is very grammar heavy, Seoul is very speaking heavy. Iwa is in the middle, so it's not as speaking heavy as Seoul, but it's not as grammar heavy. Right in the middle. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Do a little more research on your own to find out what best suits you. If you don't know Korean, of course you can still go. The point of the program is to learn Korean. If you don't know Korean, you will be placed in level 1. But if you do have some knowledge of Korean, take the placement test. Maybe you can test in a higher level and start at level 2 or 3 or whatever. I personally started at level 1. I wouldn't worry about learning too much grammar or vocab before coming, but I strongly recommend that you learn Hangul and get comfortable with it. We will go over it in class, but they speed through it really fast. And those who were still stuck on Hangul still had a hard time after we learned it, had a hard time continuing on because the class is taught in Korean and there's no English, there's no other language, so learn the Hangul and get comfortable with it. I learned Hangul from these certain videos and I'll link them in the description for you. They're really easy to follow along and it's from a native Korean. I feel like you should learn from a native and not me. So check those out and learn it. Get comfortable with writing, get comfortable with reading it. Just learn the Hangul. Okay, Sogang offers levels 1 through 6. There's also a special level 7, but most people stop after 6. You start off in level 1 and you want to go all the way to level 6. It'll take you about a year and a half. But if you already have a good grasp of Korean, you can take the placement test in the beginning and you'll be placed in a higher level, and obviously it'll take less time. I don't know if I want to go all the way to level 6. I know I want to go to at least 4. But we'll see. Yes, the whole program has people from all over the world. Like in my class personally, I want to say half of them were Asians. We had Asians from Hong Kong, Macau, Thailand, Japan, and Taiwan. Did I say Taiwan? And then the other foreigners, the Westerners, we had Italians, French, a guy from England, a girl from Argentina, and I was the only American. Everyone in our class spoke English except two students, I believe. So communicating wasn't difficult, so we became really close. But this was my class. Your class could be different. You could be in a class with all Westerners, or you could be in a class with all Asians. It just depends. And also, some people were worried that they would be discriminated against because they're from a certain country or they're a certain race. I feel like people are from everywhere. They're not gonna judge you. They're all there for the same reasons. All the people I met were super cool, so I feel like you really shouldn't worry about that. Yeah. So don't be scared, just come. If you get the opportunity, just come. So, I think this topic might be a little bit difficult for me to talk about just because my beautiful viewers are from all around the world. I can only speak from the perspective of an American. So, for those of you who aren't American, I will link a website showing you all the different visa information from other countries going to Korea, so maybe that'll help you a little bit. But for my fellow Americans, there are many options, but I'm going to talk about 2. The first one is the tourist visa, which allows you to stay in Korea up to 90 days without having to fill out anything. You just need your passport. So I think the 90-day visa is a good option if you're only staying for 1 semester, or if you're ballin', you could come to Korea for 90 days. Once there is a break or a vacation, you can go to like Japan or wherever and then come back, and the 90 days will automatically reset. This is what I did just because I knew I was coming back home for the summer before going back, but the next time I go back, I am filing for the student visa, which is the second option. This allows you to stay in Korea for up to 2 years and study. You can also get a job with this visa, but you have to have lived in Korea for 6 months before you can get a job. Okay, I think the requirements are pretty simple, kinda. You need a passport, a high school diploma, and you need to show proof that either you or your parents' bank account has 9,000 US dollars or more, or if you're from China or Vietnam, you need 10,000 US dollars or more. Now, you don't have to pay the 9,000, it's just to show the school that you're capable of living in Korea for an extended amount of time. Also, the topic is not required to get accepted. You don't have to know Korean to get accepted either. As long as you have those requirements, you will get in. The only reason you probably wouldn't get in is if the semester is already full and you filled it out too late. Other than that, you're gonna get in. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yes. That's what I kept telling myself and I got in. You'll be fine. So once you come on the Seoul's website, you'll see a bunch of languages you can pick, and you'll see other tabs that you can pick. The main ones you'll be using is programs and administration. So just click on programs, and it'll show you the different types of courses they offer. The one I did was the KGP 200 in the morning. You can also see like how much it costs, the different levels, when classes are, the different features they have, special activities, course descriptions. You can also see when each semester starts and ends, and each of the application deadlines and the orientation days. So to fill the application, you're going to go to online application. It'll show you all the requirements, everything you need to start it. And then you just click application. So after you choose your class and choose your term, this is where the application is. You like my picture? You have to submit a picture for your ID, and then fill out like your name, your gender, your email, all that stuff. You need a high school diploma, make sure you put that in there, your address, all your information. And then down here, they're just going to ask you some questions, whether you know Korean or not, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, you're going to go to attachment. And this is where you put like your passport copy, your diploma, certificate of bank balances, stuff like that. And then after that, you're pretty much done. You just gotta wait for them to approve. How did I pay for it? I basically paid for this by, after high school, I took a year off to work and I saved all my money. Every penny, I saved all of it. I only eat at home. I didn't buy new stuff. If I did, I just had my parents buy it for me, but that's what I did. Other students were like grown adults. They had good paying jobs, they saved money, and then they came. Others' parents paid for them, or I knew some who actually did student loans or loans. Oh, some people were asking, but I don't have a job yet. You'd have to, with the student visa, you'd have to live in Korea for 6 months before getting a job. If you attend Seoul's KLEC program and only, you're not a student, like you don't have a major in the university, you're just studying Korean, you are not offered dorms. You cannot stay in the dorms. I know other universities like Ewha does allow you to stay in the dorm, so if that's important, that's something to consider. But if you really want to go to Seoul, your options are a goshwan, a hasukjip, which is similar to a goshwan but more expensive, and a middle-aged lady cooks meals for you. And then there's a more expensive, which is like a one-room. It's similar to a studio apartment. I personally stay in a goshwan. If you don't know what a goshwan is, you can check out my video. You can check it out. The link will also be in the description. I will also link a website to where I found my goshwan. So if you kind of just want to scroll and see what kind of prices, what suits you best. My goshwan is really small, so if you can't stand small spaces, maybe find a bigger one, but of course those are going to be more expensive. The schools do not pay for your flights. That comes out of your own pocket, and of course depending on where you're from or what time of the year you're flying to Korea will determine the price. I paid around 600 USD with 12-hour layover in Beijing, which I think is pretty good coming from Washington DC all the way to Seoul. During the 12-hour layover, I booked a hotel in China and I just stayed the night and flew out to Seoul the next day. But if you're alone like I was and you don't feel comfortable with going out in a foreign country, especially one where you don't speak the language, maybe a one-way flight would best suit you, but those prices will go up like double. It'll like double. Okay, I feel like there are many options to this. What I did the first time, since I knew I was coming back home for the summer, I just kept my American phone and I kept it on airplane mode the whole time. There's Wi-Fi literally everywhere you go and it's pretty fast too. So I didn't really have a problem with that. If I ever got lost and I didn't have Wi-Fi, I wasn't afraid to ask like Koreans for directions. Another option, which I'm gonna do the next time I go back, is to get a phone plan. But to get a phone plan, you need an alien registration card. And to get an alien registration card, you need the student visa. So if you get all of that, you can get a phone plan like you would anywhere else and pay, like, sign a contract, pay monthly. I don't know how phones work, stuff like that. Another option is you can just bring your phone and get a SIM card. I know they sell them at the airport and convenience stores, and you pay monthly. I believe it's more expensive than like getting a phone plan, but like if you don't have another option, then the SIM card is the way to go. If you're staying for one semester, I just put my phone on airplane mode and use the free Wi-Fi that is everywhere. When I first landed in Korea, I took a cab to where I was living because I was so scared that I was gonna get lost, and I had so much luggage with me and I was just like, I'm not in the mood. I was so tired. I just traveled for hours, and so I took a cab. After I got settled and unpacked and everything, I just went out and walked around. I got lost, but it helped me become really familiar with my area. Blackpink in your area. And throughout my stay, another thing that helped me was this app, Kakao Map. It's a map app. It's really easy to follow along. You just open it, type where you're looking for, directions. You can choose walking, bus, subway, car, in order to show you all of it. It's really easy to follow. I also found a lot of good places to eat. So yeah, getting around, I didn't get lost that often thanks to the app. Another thing, Korean subways are very good, but they are very confusing looking. But don't freak out, there's also a subway app that you can use. You can just pick where you are, click your destination, and it'll tell you everything. Where to transfer, what car to get on for the fastest transfer. It's amazing. There's also a bus app, but I didn't ride the bus a lot personally. The only time I did was to school, and it was only like 2 stops. Most of the time, I just walked to places. In general, I feel like it's pretty easy to make friends here. Even if you're super awkward like me, I feel like you can make some friends here. I had both Korean and international friends. I was close to the students in my class and students from other classes. Other ways to make friends outside of your classroom is to do language exchange. A lot of cafes post flyers of like Korean English exchange, Korean French exchange, Korean Chinese exchange. Language exchange are a good way to make friends, even though I feel like they're just using you to learn English. You could also use apps to make friends. This one app I personally use, Meetup. It's also a website, meetup.com. They have They have a lot of activities on there. I only used the hiking one, so I would go hiking on the weekends and I'd meet like a group of strangers and then we'd all go eat after. Both Korean and international. Some of them I stayed in contact with, or if you're into it, you could go to clubs and bars. I feel like it's pretty easy to meet people there as well, but that's not my thing. But if you're into that, go ahead, girl. So I feel like if you just make the conscious effort to get out of your room and meet people, you're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a blast. If you are a KLEC student at Seoul University, you can set up a bank account at Uri Bank. You do not need alien registration. You do not need an alien registration card or a visa. As long as you're a student, you can set up an account at that bank. Only thing I think required, I think you need $350 to open an account, but I'm not sure. I used my American card and I used mostly cash. I exchanged my cash here at my home bank, but there's also a lot of places in Korea where you can exchange it there. So don't feel pressure to exchange all of your money, or if you didn't, you'll be fine. They exchange it. There's little places all over Korea, or all over Seoul, I should say. I don't know about the rest of the country. Korean banknotes, there's 4 of them. There's 1,000 won, there's 1,000 won, 1,000 won, there's 5,000 won, 5,000 won, 10,000 won, man won, and then there's 50,000 won, man won. And they got some coins too, I think. Yeah. Not I think, I know. They have coins also. Whew. Honestly, there's so much to do on your free time. During a school day, after class, I would eat lunch with my friends, study, do my homework, and maybe go out with other friends if I'm not tired. Usually I'm really tired after class, so I just pass out. But on the weekends, you could do anything you want. You could go hiking, go to the movies, visit, have a picnic, go to the museum. You could do all the tourist stuff, go shopping, eat. You can eat all day. There's restaurants everywhere. You just chill at cafes, hang with your friends. The list is endless. I really feel like it'll be really hard to get bored here. Or if I had a hard week, I would just stay in, watch movies, and eat all day by myself, because there's nothing wrong with being by yourself. Netflix works in Korea. Okay, that's all I have, I think. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them. If there's a lot, like if I missed too much, then I'll just do a part 2. Or if I explain something weird, let me know and I'll try to explain it a different way so you can understand it. I feel like I can't even understand myself sometimes. But thank you for watching my video. I'm so sick of this fake love, fake love, fake love. I'm so sorry about this fake love, fake love, fake love.